The 2025 NFL season is approaching fast, and while every quarterback faces pressure to perform, some signal callers are carrying significantly heavier loads than others. These aren't just expectations, these are career defining moments that could shape legacies for years to come. Today, we're breaking down the top five quarterbacks who are facing the most intense pressure heading into this season. From massive contract obligations to championship windows closing, these players have everything on the line. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why these five quarterbacks are under the microscope more than any others in the NFL. Before we dive into our countdown, it's important to understand what separates normal quarterback pressure from the intense scrutiny these five are facing. Regular pressure is about winning games and improving statistics. The pressure we're talking about today, it's about justifying enormous investments, salvaging careers, and delivering on promises that entire franchises have built around them. Coming in at number five is Trevor Lawrence, who finds himself at a critical juncture in his NFL career. Lawrence signed a 5-year, $275 million contract with the Jacksonville Jaguars with an average annual salary of $55 million, making him one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the league. The pressure Lawrence faces is multifaceted and significant. Lawrence is one of the top five highest paid quarterbacks in the NFL, but is ranked 19th in total QBR over the last two seasons, while the other four QBs on the list, Dak Prescott, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, and Jordan Love, all ranked top 8 in total QBR over the 2023 to 24 campaigns. This statistical disparity creates an uncomfortable narrative about return on investment. Recent assessments have placed Lawrence in the middle of discussions about quarterbacks under pressure to perform. With a new offensive scheme under head coach Liam Cohen, Lawrence has a fresh opportunity to prove his worth, but the stakes couldn't be higher. With a revamped roster and a new offensive coordinator, Trevor Lawrence says 2025 is the year the Jaguars must turn promise into performance. The Jaguars organization has invested heavily, not just financially, but organizationally, building their entire future around Lawrence's success. When a franchise commits that level of resources to a player, mediocrity isn't an option. The pressure extends beyond individual performance. Jacksonville has playoff aspirations, and Lawrence is expected to be the catalyst that transforms the Jaguars from a team with potential into legitimate contenders. Every interception, every missed opportunity, and every loss will be scrutinized through the lens of that massive contract extension. While Trevor Lawrence is dealing with contract expectations, our next quarterback is facing pressure from a different angle: the weight of being America's team quarterback in a championship-hungry organization. At number four, we have Dak Prescott, who occupies one of the most scrutinized positions in professional sports, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. The pressure Prescott faces is unique because it combines massive expectations with constant media attention and an impatient fan base that hasn't seen a Super Bowl victory since 1996. Prescott is coming off an injury-shortened 2024 season, which adds another layer to his pressure situation. When quarterbacks miss significant time due to injury, they face questions about their durability and ability to return to their previous level of performance. For a player in Prescott's position, where every game is analyzed extensively, there's no grace period for rust or adjustment. The Cowboys organization has built their roster around Prescott's success, investing in offensive weapons and maintaining a competitive team structure. Owner Jerry Jones has been vocal about the team's championship expectations, and those expectations flow directly to the quarterback position. In Dallas, being pretty good isn't sufficient. The standard is championship level performance. Prescott's situation is particularly challenging because the Cowboys have consistently been competitive but haven't broken through to reach the ultimate goal. They've won division titles and made playoff appearances, but the pressure now is about taking the next step. The difference between another playoff exit and a deep playoff run could define how Prescott's tenure in Dallas is remembered. The media microscope in Dallas is unlike anywhere else in the NFL. Every decision Prescott makes, every audible at the line of scrimmage, and every post-game comment becomes headline material. This constant attention creates an environment where maintaining focus on football becomes increasingly difficult. If playing under the Dallas spotlight seems intense, our next quarterback is dealing with something even more daunting: the pressure of trying to end one of the most famous championship droughts in professional sports. Number 3 brings us Caleb Williams, entering his second NFL season after showing promising signs during his rookie season under center with the Chicago Bears in 2024. Williams is now facing the critical sophomore season pressure that often defines a quarterback's career trajectory. After the Bears' 5-12 finish last season weighed on the quarterback, Williams has publicly declared several ambitions he has for himself in 2025, including throwing for 4,000 yards while completing 70% of his passes. These aren't just personal goals, they represent the expectations of an organization and fan base hungry for quarterback success. The pressure on Williams is particularly intense because second-year quarterbacks face a unique challenge. Defenses have now had a full season to study his tendencies, and the element of surprise that helped many rookies is gone. Williams has shown growth in the leadership department going into the 2025 season, but growth and results are two different things in the NFL. Chicago's championship window is open right now. They have a strong defense, talented skill position players, and organizational momentum that creates urgency around Williams' development. Unlike his rookie season, where learning was acceptable, Williams is now expected to deliver consistent performance that translates to wins. Williams was named one of the 10 players with the most to prove during the 2025 NFL season, highlighting just how much scrutiny he's under. The historical context adds weight to Williams' pressure situation. Bears fans have endured decades of quarterback disappointments, and their expectations are shaped by years of hoping each new signal caller will be the one. Williams also faces the unique pressure of being a former number 1 overall pick in a major market. Every performance will be dissected by local and national media, and the sophomore slump narrative looms large over every game. The organizational structure around Williams has been designed for success, which paradoxically increases pressure. When everything is set up perfectly for a quarterback to succeed, there are fewer excuses for struggles and less patience for development time. While Caleb Williams faces the pressure of living up to enormous potential, our next quarterback is dealing with something even more complex: the pressure of proven excellence that hasn't yet translated to ultimate success. At number 2, we have Josh Allen, whose pressure situation is particularly complex because it stems from his own excellence. Allen enters the 2025 NFL season with immense expectations as the Buffalo Bills aim to achieve a historic breakthrough. Despite being one of the league's premier quarterbacks, Allen faces a unique challenge this year: navigating the weight of sky-high expectations while leading his team to its first Super Bowl victory. Allen has established himself as one of the NFL's elite quarterbacks with arm strength, mobility, and leadership qualities that make him a complete player. However, this excellence has created expectations that extend beyond individual accolades to team accomplishments. Josh Allen has accomplished a lot with the Buffalo Bills, but he's still missing the biggest goal of all: a Super Bowl championship. Never before have the Buffalo Bills won a Super Bowl, and in the 8th year of the Josh Allen-Sean McDermott era, the pressure is now greater than ever for the Lombardi Trophy to come to Western New York. This creates a unique pressure dynamic where Allen's individual success actually increases expectations rather than providing comfort. The Buffalo Bills will be under huge pressure to finally deliver a Super Bowl in 2025. The organization has consistently built competitive teams around Allen, and they've reached conference championship games and playoff success, but the ultimate goal remains elusive. Allen's pressure is compounded by the competitive landscape in the AFC. The team has yet to overcome perennial powerhouses like the Kansas City Chiefs, creating pressure for Allen to deliver when it matters most. When you're consistently one of the best teams that can't quite get over the finish line, every season becomes increasingly critical. Josh Allen's greatness hinges on Buffalo Bills' 2025 outcome. This statement encapsulates the pressure Allen faces. His legacy and place in NFL history depend not just on individual performance, but on team achievement. That's an enormous burden for any player to carry. The Bills have maintained their competitive window, but championship windows don't stay open indefinitely. The pressure on Allen is about capitalizing on the organization's investment and the team's current construction before circumstances change. But even Josh Allen's championship pressure has competition for intensity. Our number one quarterback is facing a pressure situation that combines contract expectations, playoff performance questions, and franchise altering consequences into one unprecedented scenario. At number one, Lamar Jackson faces the most complex and intense pressure situation in the NFL today. Jackson's pressure stems from multiple converging factors that create a perfect storm of expectations and consequences. First, there's the contract situation. Jackson is in discussions for a massive extension that would make him one of the highest paid players in NFL history. When quarterbacks receive contracts of that magnitude, the expectations aren't just about good performance, they're about championship level results. Every aspect of Jackson's play will be evaluated against that financial commitment. Second, Jackson faces intensified championship expectations after his strong 2024 playoff performance. Jackson just delivered his best playoff game yet in a 28-14 wildcard victory over the Pittsburgh Steelers in January 2025, showing significant growth and maturity in his postseason play. However, this success has paradoxically increased pressure rather than relieved it. The playoff victory has elevated expectations because it demonstrated Jackson's capability to perform at an elite level when it matters most. Now, the question isn't whether he can win playoff games, it's whether he can sustain that level of performance and lead the Ravens to their first Super Bowl since 2013. Success in the wild card round has made anything less than deep playoff runs feel insufficient. The Ravens organization has built their entire identity around Jackson's unique skill set. Their offensive system, personnel decisions, and strategic approach all center on maximizing Jackson's abilities. This creates enormous pressure because if Jackson struggles, it's not just individual failure, it's organizational failure. Jackson's pressure is also amplified by his age and career timeline. At 28 years old, he's entering what should be his prime years, and the window for capitalizing on his athletic abilities won't remain open indefinitely. The urgency around Jackson's success is real because his playing style depends heavily on mobility and athleticism that naturally decline with age. The Ravens have invested heavily in supporting Jackson with offensive weapons, defensive talent, and coaching stability. When an organization commits that level of resources to a specific player, the pressure for results becomes immense. Every season that doesn't end with deep playoff success raises questions about the approach and the investment. Jackson's situation is unique because he faces pressure from multiple directions simultaneously. There's financial pressure from contract expectations, performance pressure from playoff struggles, organizational pressure from team construction, and temporal pressure from career timeline considerations. These five quarterbacks represent different types of pressure situations that define the modern NFL, from Trevor Lawrence justifying his massive contract in Jacksonville to Lamar Jackson carrying the weight of organizational and individual expectations in Baltimore. Each faces career-defining challenges this season. What makes this season particularly compelling is that these pressure situations will be resolved one way or another. Some of these quarterbacks will rise to meet their challenges and establish themselves as elite players who deliver when it matters most. Others may struggle under the weight of expectations, leading to significant changes in their careers and organizations. The beauty of the NFL is that pressure creates both opportunity and risk. These five quarterbacks have the chance to transform their legacies and silence critics, but they also face the possibility of falling short when the stakes are highest. What's your take on these rankings? Do you think I accurately assess the pressure levels, or would you rank them differently? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I'm particularly interested in hearing which pressure situation you think is most challenging to handle. If you found this analysis valuable, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. We've got more in-depth NFL content coming that breaks down the strategic and psychological aspects of the game that often get overlooked. Ring that notification bell so you don't miss our upcoming videos analyzing team, strategies, player development, and the business side of professional football. Until next time, remember that pressure in the NFL isn't just about individual performance. It's about meeting the expectations that come with elite talent, massive investments, and championship aspirations. These five quarterbacks will show us this season whether they can transform pressure into performance when it matters most.